We're taking back ownership over our own wellness and redefining what is useful. My name is Teresa Keto Dickerson, and I'm on a mission to change the conversation around the standard of acceptable. We're disrupting the way products are consumed and the ideas that we aren't in charge of our own wellness. Through connecting to community and professionals, we're clearing the path to live organically. This is an organic journey. I want to introduce you to today's guest. She's the owner and operator of Skin Deep since 2010 and the licensed esthetician since 2003. She's deeply passionate about skin and educating clients on how to improve their skin's health safely and naturally. As a single mom of 3 beautiful children, this wellness warrior is not only a natural living advocate, but an author as well, which she's offering today as a free resource. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce you to a woman who's on a mission to empower women and men suffering from skin problems, Samantha Drench.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. It really is an honor. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So before we dive right in, I just wanted to say that I saw on your site that you were a participant for the Vision of Hope. How was that summit?
It was a lot of fun. It was a labor of love. It was one of those things that I woke up one day, I'm like, I have to put this summit together, and I interviewed 32 speakers. It was incredible.
Wow. Oh, so you put it on. I don't know how I missed that. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just got finished hosting a summit myself, but it was a pre-recorded one. So I didn't have, so were your people live?
No, I did everything pre-recorded and then I shared it each day in the email.
Oh, in the email. Okay. Yeah. So I completely understand. Mm-hmm. That is definitely labor of love. That's one way of putting it. So what made you come up with it?
My business was shut down in March due to the pandemic, like everybody else's. Right. And I was home and bored, and I was doing a lot of soul searching, and I was doing a lot of praying. And one morning I woke up and it was basically God's like, you need to do this. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to put together a summit. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just going to reach out to a few people and see if anybody's interested. And I set out to do 15, and I ended up with 32 speakers.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing, because that's one of those things that's really hard to, you think you're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to put some people together. We're just going to talk. And before you know it, you're like,
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. But that is amazing. Congratulations on a successful launch. Are you planning on doing it again?
I probably will. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's actually inspired me to start my own podcast too, because I loved interviewing people.
Yeah, it is fun. This is definitely, it was definitely different. As soon as you get the sound and stuff together, then it's amazing.
Yes.
All right, cool. So what I wanted to, me, other women, I'm sure, I suffered from acne, it seemed like it's forever. It started in my teenage years. I thought I was going to stop at 18, 19, and somehow it kept going into my 20s. I think I didn't stop getting super bad breakouts until late 25, right? Or maybe even later. But I wanted to say that I'm intrigued by you having this natural approach to different things. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners that are just starting the organic journey also have questions. So can you tell me about your practice, how you got started? Just talk me through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So my journey with clearing up my own adult acne, I didn't have it as a teenager. So I was very blessed. Yeah. And then in 2006, I went off birth control because I wanted to start a family. Mm-hmm. And within a few months of stopping birth control, my skin freaked out and my whole face was covered in acne. And then I got pregnant and my skin was clear. And with each of my 3 pregnancies, my skin was clear. So I just assumed, eventually my hormones are going to, even out and my skin's going to clear back up and then I'll be fine. Well, after my 3rd baby was born, she was about 7 or 8 months old. And I was like, I'm just going to lose the last of the baby weight. So I started training for a half marathon. I was eating well. And I just couldn't lose those last 10 pounds. And a friend of mine suggested that I do a detox. She's like, why don't you do a gut cleanse, get rid of all these inflammatory foods? She's like, that's going to help you drop that weight. And it did. But in less than 2 weeks, my acne completely cleared up. And so from then on, I was like, I've been determined to help clients, achieve healthy skin and kind of really look inside the body, because
Right.
you can put stuff on your face all day. And if
Right.
your gut's not right, your skin's not going to clear up. And so I've learned through my own journey of, eating really clean,
Hmm.
eliminating gluten, dairy, sugar, all the inflammatory foods.
Right.
Whenever I do cheat and have some of those foods, like that's the first thing that happens is I break out.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's funny, not funny, but it's interesting how the body is like, sorry, that's not what we're doing anymore. And it like
Yeah.
completely freaks out on you. So I completely understand that. So I love how there's like this common theme so far that I'm noticing, like between like healing, healing issues and skin and like just pretty much everything. This common theme is about like, eating well and right and like the
Mhm.
food. And you also put on your on one of your on your page that you said that food is like the root of all evil. I like
Yes.
these kind that like it's one of those things we can't live or live without, right? But it's the root cause of a lot of these skin issues. And it's something a lot of us were told about as kids, like, right? They were like, don't eat chocolate, you'll break out, whatever. But, what is it that you've learned that was different? Besides the chocolate, what else have you learned that was different? Like, what did you stumble upon?
So for me, it's dairy, like
Mm,
dairy, and that's pretty much for everybody. We are not designed, our bodies, just as humans, we're not designed to consume cow milk or any kind of dairy because it's inflammatory, and we don't have the enzymes to digest it and to break it down properly, which is why it causes so many inflammatory problems in a lot of people. It can lead, that's why people feel gassy and bloated after they eat cheese, or like sometimes you get like a little bit of
mhm.
like your throat feels a little clogged or
Yeah.
congested. Some people can have like sinus problems from dairy too. So it's not
Mhm.
just skin problems, but dairy's a really big one. And same thing with gluten. Like our bodies just really can't process gluten.
Mhm.
Um, like our ancestors did, because it's so heavily processed nowadays.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's one of those things I've been learning too on this
Mhm.
journey is like, some of these things that we just weren't designed to break down is what's
Mhm.
causing all of our issues right now.
Yes.
So, what do you think is important for a beginner, like just starting this journey of like, hey, you know what, I'm going to eat right, and not just always like a lot of times, it's not just for people who are trying to lose weight, right? Like sometimes it's like like for you, like the acne. For me, mine was like inflammatory issues, like pains or whatever. But what is it that you feel when it comes to skin, like what's going on beneath the surface here, like what's happening that's causing all these reactions?
Well, it starts with the gut for sure, because our gut is like our second brain. If our gut's not healthy, our skin's an organ, and it's the largest organ in the body, so it's connected to all our internal organs. So if there
Mhm.
is a problem going on in the body, it's got to purge somehow, and it's got to get rid of that inflammation. And so
Mhm.
some people do get sick, some people get cancer or heart disease or autoimmune disease, and other people have like acne or skin inflammation. So the body's going to get rid of it somehow. It just presents itself differently for most people.
Right.
So, with the skin, I do treat it topically, and I do have a lot of like calming, soothing,
Mhm.
organic anti-aging and like anti-acne products that I use
Right.
too. But again, like you can put those on every day, but if your gut's not healthy, then
Mhm.
you're still going to have those acne problems.
Right. Right. And that makes sense, like you said, it being the largest organ of our body, of course it's going to react a certain way. So what about those huge breakouts, those like ugly patches of like dark skin, and like what is that also just sort of a manifestation of what we're eating, or is there something else going on?
It could even be like a food sensitivity. Like some of
Hmm.
us are sensitive to foods. Like there's foods that produce what we call histamines, like an
Hmm.
avocado or spinach. And those kind of foods, they don't make us sick. They don't make us feel gross, but our
Hmm.
body doesn't like it and our body doesn't tolerate it because it creates more inflammation. And so that can also be another trigger. I
Hmm.
always recommend and refer my clients out to like naturopathic doctors or functional medicine doctors, because
Hmm.
they can do a food sensitivity test and they can really pinpoint like a client's inflammatory markers and really help figure out exactly what foods are triggering certain inflammatory issues. And then once they can kind of help you detox and get rid of those foods with different supplements, and they'll help you with a diet plan too. And then over time, not only do you feel better, but your skin starts to improve. improve. And it's like, you really don't change your routine. You just change like what you're putting in your body and how you're getting rid of all of that.
Right, right. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. And so in one of my interviews I've done, they were talking about how like some of these dark vegetables, while we're told are really good for us, they also can cause some issues with that, with just our bodies in general. Is this also true for, you did mention like spinach? Are there other foods that we're told are really healthy, and they are in some cases, but are there any other foods that might be causing skin issues?
Yeah, there's also foods with lectins in them, which are like your nightshades, your tomatoes, eggplants, all peppers, zucchini. They have in them the seeds that make them grow is actually how the plant protects itself from like predators or from us when we eat it. It doesn't make us sick, but again, it causes inflammation and
Right.
can result in the skin. So I know it's like sometimes when you think about, okay, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't
Right.
eat that. It's like, okay, but these foods are known as healthy, and they
Right.
are, but in moderation. Like if you are to eat a pepper, you always want to scrape out the seeds. If you
Right.
just eat
Right.
the skin, then it's not going to hurt you, and it's not going to cause as much inflammation as if you're eating, the seeds with it.
Right. Right. Okay, so that I get that. So it's not that these foods are bad, although dairy is probably a different
Yes.
case. But like these peppers and stuff, it's about how you're eating it and the moderation behind it, and those things are what's directly affecting the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what about when? So how can a person start taking ownership, right, of their own health, of their own wellness, right? So again, I know we talked about what types of things are causing these things, but like step one, right? Like besides wash your face, which I think most of us know, right? It's obvious. Like what other steps do you think a beginner needs to like just really hone in on?
So if somebody is not consistent with their care routine, I literally just start them out with a cleanser and a moisturizer. I
Mhm.
have them do like a nice gentle cleanser morning and night, and then a moisturizer. In the morning, I give them an SPF, and then at night, I give them just a regular moisturizer based on their skin type. If they're
Right.
dry, I give them a heavier one. If they're oilier, I give them a lighter one. But you always want to start with cleansing and moisturizing. And then from there, we can add in serums, and then, a twice a week exfoliant. And then we can add in masks, and we can go from there. But usually just start simple. Skincare really doesn't have to be complicated. We walk into
Mhm.
these stores and it's extremely overwhelming, and we have no
Yeah.
idea what we're buying, and we buy stuff that we don't need. And
Right.
really, it doesn't. I mean, I tell clients like 5, 6 products. That's the maximum that you really need.
Right. So okay, so you got the wash, you've got the exfoliant, right? You've got
Mhm.
the moisturizer, of course, and then you mentioned. So what exactly is a serum? What is that? Like what are we doing here?
So I like to call the serums the worker bees, because
Okay.
those are the products that have active ingredients in them, and they can actually improve your cells, the way the skin cells function, and they can actually help repair the skin. For example, peptides. I don't know if
Mhm.
you've ever heard of a peptide.
Mm.
It's a type of serum, and it's a chain of amino acids.
Mhm.
And what it does is it really re-educates the cells and teaches your skin cells how to start self-correcting and working like they did when your skin was young.
Right.
So it's a really natural approach, but it's super effective.
Interesting. Yeah, back when we were like didn't realize that skin was important. We had perfect skin, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got our washes, we've got our moisturizers, we've got our serums. So what you mentioned that masks should be done twice a week, right? So are
Yes.
there specific masks that we should be using here, or like because you're right, you get into the store and there's like a bajillion things. We're just like, well, I'm just gonna pick a brand and just be like and put it like all in our cart. Like so, like what exactly are we looking for?
A good clay mask is what I like to recommend. Something with bentonite clay. I would never recommend a charcoal mask. Those are way too strong, and they pull all oil out of the skin.
Oh,
And then any of those sheet masks that you see, like those ones you can buy, like when you're in the checkout line, those
with
things
little
are
paper.
horrible. I've known so many clients. Not only have my clients had bad skin, but some of their kids have reacted because they put stuff like irritating ingredients or chemicals in them, and they target the younger crowd because they put like
Right,
unicorns and rainbows and all this like fluff on it, and
right.
they're really damaging to the skin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So no paper masks, even though they're super cute and the packaging is like super
Yeah.
fun. Okay, so we've got the wash, the moisturizer, wait, serum, the mask. And so what about exfoliators? Like, I mean, I guess the name is like the word is in the name. It's exfoliating, but like, is there anything like what's happening? Like, is it like what's going on?
I'll try and make it simple.
Okay.
Um, so basically, our skin cells reproduce. Every 28 to 30 days, our skin goes through a new cell cycle, which means that the new cells are born at the bottom, and then it takes 28, 30 days for them to come up to the top. And then they replace. So basically, everything you touch is dead skin. So when the new ones come up to the surface, they push the old ones off. They're stacked. Our cells are stacked like bricks and mortars. So the cells are the bricks, and then there's a glue that holds them together. When the old ones get pushed off, sometimes they get stuck, and then they build up. And that's why people can get like dry patches of skin, or they have like a dull appearance because they're not exfoliating correctly. So the
Okay.
goal of an exfoliant is just it brushes away the unwanted dead skin cells, and it leaves the skin's barrier intact. Now, scrubs or like peels or those peel pads, those break down the barrier, whereas like an enzyme or a gommage or something super light, it just gets rid of the surface unwanted dead skin cells. And I like to tell clients it assists the skin. So it teaches our skin how to just get rid of what doesn't belong there so the skin can continue to do its job.
Okay. All right. So I'm a beginner. I now know what to do, right? Like I'm going to the skincare area. I'm finding, of course, we're finding the most natural organic products we could possibly find because the toxins aren't helping anything.
Right.
I'm getting a wash and I'm getting a moisturizer. And you're saying two types, right? SPF in the morning and then like a regular, just a plain one in the evening. A lot of them say night creams, I've noticed. And then 2 times a week we're doing a mask, and 2 times a week we're doing exfoliator. So we're just alternating, or they're stacked on top of each other?
You can do the exfoliant and the mask the same day.
Okay.
I actually keep my exfoliant in my shower because it's easier because it needs to sit about, depends on the 5 to 10 minutes. So I wash my face, I put on my exfoliant, and then I rinse it off at the end.
Right.
So it's like that step's done. And then you can mask either, if you take your shower at night, you can mask then, or, some people like to just put on their mask and kind of walk around the house or watch TV or, make it, I always like to tell clients, make it a ritual, find time in your day and make it fun. Light a candle, play some music, make it, a little more of like a pampering time for you.
Yeah. And make it like a mini spa, so you're more inclined to continue doing it. Of course. So I have a question. So when for the beginner out there, let's talk about some of those challenges, right? So like, it's not something new, right? We've all heard this as teenagers, but it's something we are sort of taught. We just might not be taught the full story, right? So can you talk about some of these challenges that a person's going to face now that they're like determined to they're like, I'm getting my skin together. So what kind of challenges do you see a lot of your clients sort of walking in with?
First of all, it's hard to find products in a store because there's so many, and most people don't really understand their skin type. You could be drying your skin out, or you could be creating blackheads because certain products have certain filler ingredients that may be making your skin worse. And even some of these natural products, while they say they're organic and they use organic ingredients, they don't use a high quality organic ingredient. And sometimes they put like dimethicone or forms of dimethicone where they don't even say that word. But what that does is it's like putting saran wrap on your face. It's suffocating the skin. So it's causing you to get blackheads. So if you are somebody that's breaking out, but you're dry at the same time, and you're using something that's going to help with the dryness, you're actually causing your acne to get worse. And then some people that have like a lot of breakouts and they use an acne line, you're stripping the skin of oil. So then you're creating more acne and dry skin. So
wow. You're
It's a
just sort of like
very,
stacking on all the
I
issues.
know it's like, it's very complicated. I always tell, whenever I talk to people, I always tell them to find an esthetician or find somebody that they trust that really understands skin and that can help customize something or create, certain products and say, okay, this is how your skin works. So these are the type of cleansers. This is the type of exfoliant. This is the type of moisturizers you should be using, because then it will help them. It'll just help their skin function better.
Right.
If that
So,
makes
okay. So, is there like a test that somebody takes? Like, do I like go? Do I find an esthetician and I'm like, and they're saying, okay, I'm gonna give you like this skin test, and it like prints out like a list of stuff that your body like hates or doesn't want or loves or whatever. What's that process like?
I just kind of, they have, some estheticians have machines. I don't have one that
Hmm.
can really like assess like the inside of your skin. And those are really cool.
Right.
It's actually kind of scary to see your skin like in those UV lights and you're like, oh my God, my skin's that bad.
Ooh.
um, but like when I touch somebody's skin, I can see, I've been doing this since 2003. So it's like by now it's second nature to me. So
Right.
when I see a client, like I can automatically tell, like, their dryness. Like when I touch their skin, I can feel the oil, or I can tell if they're really dry. If they have acne, I can tell if it's internal or not, because somebody
Mhm.
that has gut issues and acne, they don't have blackheads. They just have like breakouts on their skin. Whereas like a oily person with acne, they have blackheads and acne. So it's just, for me, it's just the experience of just being with clients in a treatment room for so many years. Like that's kind of how I determine. And then as I'm giving the facial, I'm kind of seeing like, how is their skin responding to products? Are they turning red? Do they have a lot of redness before I even touch their face? So if
Right.
they do, then I know they tend to be more sensitive. So I don't want to use more irritating ingredients on them.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of, like for me, it's just client by client basis is how I customize and create like their home care routine.
Right. I mean, which makes sense, right? We're all different, so of course our
Mhm.
skin would be. So you touched on something because now I'm thinking about my son or whatever. My whole family, we have like our acne just like goes crazy, right?
Yeah.
Um, so if there's no blackheads, it's just a lot of pimples. This is a gut problem. So like,
Mhm.
which of course makes sense because my son eats like everything, right? So it's a gut problem. So that's when we start to like go inside and like changing the things you're eating, knocking out the cheeses and those inflammatory foods, etc. Right?
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. And then if it's blackheads, the blackheads are doing what now?
They're clogging the pores, and then not everybody that has blackheads has acne, but there's a bacteria that can develop in somebody with a lot of blackheads, and that's what causes the acne inflammation.
Okay, okay, and that's what the blackheads are. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I've seen some pictures, and I'm like, oh, that's disgusting. So, what would you say? What advice would you give someone who's thinking about going to a esthetician? Right, like what kind of resources should they read up on something? Like what would you say would be some good prep material for a person?
Yeah. I actually love when clients call me. I like talking to them on the phone because I like to understand what's going on with somebody and what's going on with their skin. And I will ask, like, if they tell me, oh, I've been breaking out, I hate breaking out, I will start
Mhm.
asking, like, do you have a clean diet? Do you eat like dairy? Do you eat sugar? Do you eat gluten?
Right,
Um, I think it's important to interview somebody. If you see good reviews, and big spas, they do have great estheticians, but more of those kind of estheticians are fluff. They're there to pamper you and give you a really loving, caring facial, which is great. But I feel like a solo esthetician, somebody that works in a salon suite or kind of works in the back of a hair salon,
mhm.
those estheticians tend to be a little bit more like they're small business owners. So they do
Right,
tend to, um, take a look at the skin and really, look at the client overall and take their time and just say, okay, this is what, this is how I can help you, and kind of create that relationship, because some people just don't click. I mean, it's
right.
like that in anything. So that's why I say, interview, give them a call first.
Mhm.
And you ask questions, like tell them everything, be completely honest, be upfront with them, because they can't help you, or we can't help you if we don't
Mm.
really know. If you say, oh, I don't eat dairy, and then you're sneaking it,
Yeah.
after you leave, like, like
Yeah.
we can't help you then. So,
Mm.
I mean, somebody like, a lot of estheticians are like me. I truly want to help people. And so I try and ask as many questions as I can to really understand what's going on and really help those clients out.
Okay. So as part of your program, and now that, we're in a completely virtual world, which I completely understand, are you now offering sort of like virtual sessions? Is that something that you've now incorporated? I mean, I
Yes.
know you can't touch me, but like based off the interviews and sort of like seeing like what's happening, not
Yeah.
right now, I'm wearing makeup, but yeah.
No. Yeah. No, I have been doing a lot of virtual consults, and I'm actually putting together like an online course for women, to
Mhm.
like a 6 weeks course to really help teach people a little bit and dive deep into like the basics of the skin, help them understand like how the skin functions, how the mindset works. Like if you look at your skin and you focus on your acne, your acne is not going to get better. And then
Right.
we talk about gut health and lifestyle and stress and sleep and
Right.
like all those components. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I love, because it's mind, body, spirit when it comes to the skin.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the skin is the largest organ, so of
Mhm.
course it's connected to everything. So it makes a lot of sense. So give me your elevator pitch, right? Like give me, I'm like, hey, Samantha, like these zits don't go away. What am I doing here? Like, tell me like what's happening. What's your elevator pitch?
So I would come out and just say, I love, I'm trying to think, what would I say to somebody that just, people don't come up to me and randomly like ask me questions.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But if a client comes in, I would totally just kind of give them a little bit of background about me. Just say, I started out in the medical spa industry, ended up in the day spa industry, and then I ended up realizing that when I worked with my old boss, she said something to me about a client who was like, this kid came in with acne, and she's like, he has too much yeast in his body. And I just thought, that's interesting. And so every like that really fueled me to think, okay, how can I approach the skin a little differently? So
Mhm.
I always did research. I love learning. And I feel like everybody's so individualized that, it is fun to get to know people and get to know everybody's stories, but really
Right.
understand like, how is this helping their skin too? So yeah, I would just chat a little bit about, again, with the diet and the dairy, and just,
Right.
kind of figure out, and also even ask like, what are you using on your skin, and try to help you understand that certain products can be a little more detrimental than others.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Definitely, most definitely. So, what you mentioned some readings that you've done. Like, what are you currently learning now? That like, what is it you're learning? Like, what are you researching right now about the skin?
I'm really trying to get more into like the gut health and understanding, how
Hmm.
does the gut health impact the skin? How does stress impact the skin? When we don't sleep, that also impacts the skin, because when we
Hmm.
don't get enough sleep, our organs can't repair themselves properly. So I'm really trying to learn more of like the holistic aspect of it, and really get to understand like, how does the skin function outside, or not outside the body, but like, how does the body impact, like our entire lifestyle can make or break our skin.
Right. I like that. Our entire lifestyle can make or break our skin.
Yeah.
That's gonna be your quote.
Right there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, so I just want to thank you once again for bringing us up to speed on like what exactly is going on with our skin. And here at the Organic Journey, we really are trying to, just give people some of those like beginning steps to introducing people to different modalities for health and wellness, right? Is there anything that I didn't ask that you think is important for a person who's just starting this journey?
Yeah, I would just say, if you're starting out on this, find people that are experts and find the
Mhm.
people that can help you, and don't give up until you get the answers you want, because you don't have to have bad skin. You don't deserve that. Like, you really deserve to look in the mirror and feel beautiful. And you don't have to hide your skin behind makeup, because there's people out there who really do want to help you. And, I would say just go find those people and clear up your skin.
And clear up your skin.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean that's that, right? So
Yeah.
so again, like I want to thank you, and for my listeners out there, I really am sort of working on I'm really am working to connect people to the professionals out there and to the people who know what they're talking about. So Samantha, tell the audience where they can find you and get to your courses that you're developing.
Yeah. My courses will probably launch in July, but if you want to schedule a consultation or check out my website, it's skindeepil.com. The IL is for Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and it's at skindeepil.
That's amazing. So I appreciate your time today.
Yeah.
I appreciate everything that you do for those of us who are trying to learn, and you're out there. You're willing to sort of share your knowledge. It's really a blessing for those of us who are like, what the heck is happening,
Right.
and why, right? So
Yeah.
again, thank you. And
Absolutely.
for my
Thank
listeners
you.
out there, be sure to reach out to Samantha. She's got a free resource out there for you that will allow you to go through and sort of do a bit of a deeper dive on skin care and skin wellness. So again, thank you very much for listening, and remember to live organically. Thank you.